welcome to our top 10 quick comic picks. I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
We're here with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and this is our real quick show where we show you 10. I had to pull my hand out of my pocket to show you. I do have 10 fingers. 10 of the biggest and best books that are releasing this week on Wednesday to your local comic book store, or if you shop with us in store, they'll be there, or online at infinityflux.net. They're live right now, so you can go ahead and start placing your orders. And this is another pretty jam-packed week.
Yeah, lots of good stuff this week.
A lot of good stuff and a lot of each company's big series going on. So let's get into it.
Yeah, we're going to start with Superman number 31. So this is the Superman tie-in to DCKO. And this fits in really well with the Omega Act special, Titans number 28, DCKO number 1. This meshes with all of them really well. We see Superman going to the Fortress of Solitude to try to learn more about Darkseid and the King Omega. We see him talking to Mercy at LexCorp about creating ships to help evacuate the planet. We get some really nice Superman and Lois moments. And there's just a lot packed in here, a lot going on. I do recommend this to folks who are just trying to read the core books for DCKO. I do recommend this. It's really good. And yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how it ties into the rest of the series, but I really liked it.
First up for me is maybe my pick of the week. I loved this issue of Justice League Unlimited, issue number 12. This is our first part of the DCKO story that's going on in here. And while the big evacuation is going on Earth, getting everybody out just in case things go bad during the DCKO tournament, some crimes start popping up by the criminals that are left there, but something's a little bit different. They've been superpowered.
Yeah.
You know, their regular powers are on overdrive. And what is causing this? Mr. Terrific thinks he knows what it is, so he's going to put together a team of some of the time-displaced heroes to go somewhere very surprising to look into this. But what is great about this is we get kind of individual moments of some of these time-displaced heroes and them in the modern day, and them kind of realizing what their future selves are up to at this point, and with some pretty emotional and surprising elements. We also get an explanation on exactly what are these time displaced characters, where are they from, and exactly, you know, what's their time limit here.
Yeah, right.
All of that is explained. This is a fantastic issue where after this, I hope we get a book that is these time displaced heroes going on different adventures.
Be great. Oh my gosh.
Because this was so much fun.
Yeah. And there's also Flash number 26 that comes out this week. That is a DCKO tie-in, and we will talk more about that in the longer show.
Yes.
But my next one, is moving on to Marvel's Age of Revelation. This is Radioactive Spider-Man number 1, and this shows us what Spider-Man's doing during the Age of Revelation storyline. We can see on the cover here, and you see it in the issue too, that he has been mutated by the X virus, and he's trying to stave that off by dosing himself with radiation, and how that works with his already radioactive cells. He's able to keep the mutation at bay. And then there's a couple surprises at the end as well, but this just sort of shows us, you know, Spider-Man's status quo and everything that he's dealing with in this storyline. I would say, too, that this doesn't really inject anything into the main Age of Revelation story, so if you're trying to read just the core books, you're probably okay without this one, but it's still pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm going to do a little bit of the same. I'm going to kind of do a 2-for-1 with my Age of Revelation books, because I think they're both worth talking about. First off is the last Wolverine number 1. This, if you're wondering more about what is going on with Logan, this does touch on that a little bit, but we do see how Wendigo took up the mantle of Wolverine, why he did that, when he did that, and it does feel like this is going to be the series that explores, can Logan be pulled back from this kind of mind-controlled thing that Revelation has turned him into. This was fun, and there's a pretty shocking page turn when you see a very familiar X-Men in a way you've never seen them before. And the other one I do want to mention is Book of Revelation number 1. Now, this one I do think feels kind of important if you want a more rounded idea of the Age of Revelation story, as we actually see a little bit from behind the scenes of Doug Ramsey as Revelation, and maybe what you see that he puts out there is not exactly what he is behind the scenes. We follow a new character as she becomes a chorister of Revelation, And so you kind of through her eyes see what all of this is all about behind the
Yeah.
scenes. Like I said, this one is really cool and a great addition to the Age of Revelation books.
Yeah, and we also have Omega Kids #1 as well, and we'll talk more about that one in the long show as well. But my next one is Ultimate Spider-Man #22, and this actually jumps time into December. This does not take place in October. This jumps ahead to December, and we see that the Parker family is in hiding again. But Spider-Man, we finally get some actual Spider-Man in this. He and Green Goblin, Harry Osborn, are out there on the streets fighting some bullseyes. Ben and Jonah are trying to get their message out to the world about what is really going on with the world. So it feels like they tried to cram in a lot with that time jump. You know, we know that there's only 2 issues left of this for now, anyway, allegedly. But yeah, we're nearing the end, and this one's a really cool issue.
Some cool stuff with Doc Ock too.
Yeah. All right.
I would
Well,
like
he's
to
not
see
Doc Ock, but Otto. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Next up, I've got Absolute Wonder Woman #13. This is actually the start of a new, I think it's a 2-part story called The Price, with a new artist on board just for these 2 issues, Mateus Bergara. And this is interesting. There's, as Wonder Woman is investigating some history, some lore of Themyscira, she keeps getting these like radio updates about these attacks that are happening by this weird lightning creature. And every time she thinks she beats it, she goes back, and then there's another one in another city, and she's chasing this thing all about. But what does this thing maybe have a tie to Wonder Woman and ancient battles of history? A very cool kind of, it feels like another interlude 2-issue story we're gonna have, but with a lot of fun character stuff with this one.
Well, next we have Hello Halloween #1, and this kind of fits in with the Hello Darkness series, but this is just a one shot that is focused on Halloween. And we get 5 or 6 different little one and done stories in here. A story from R.L. Stine with the Graveyard Club. There's a great story featuring a Ouija board that has a ending that you might not expect. There's a story about this weird character called Johnny Pumpkin Time that tries to corrupt the kids in the city. There's a story about the kids going trick and treating, and how maybe that is not such a good idea. So if you're looking for just a really cool book to pick up and just read to get in the Halloween spirit, this is a great one.
Well, next up, I have Ultimates #17. I'll be honest, I had a really hard time with this issue until Matt further explained
Yeah.
how to read this
We had
one.
to have a class on this one, basically.
Yeah, I do have some problems with how this is laid out, but this is kind of a full look at Reed Richards as Doctor Doom, from going all the way back to when this new Ultimate Universe began, all the way till current. Maybe his ideas about trying to recreate the Fantastic Four and what does that mean to this Reed Richards. And is he successful by the end? You'll have to read it to find out. But yeah, this one is told in a very interesting way. It is much like issue 14 of Ultimates.
4.
Issue 4
Oh,
of
yeah.
Ultimates, but maybe not as easily read.
Right.
I won't say that.
Yeah.
But a interesting issue nonetheless of Ultimates.
And last for me is Thanksgiving #1. This is a 40-page one shot that you could read at Halloween or Thanksgiving. It's about this family having Thanksgiving dinner together. But as you get to know them throughout the story, you realize that they're a pretty messed up family. And looming in the background of all this is this turkey neck killer, this serial killer who's been killing people in the neighborhood and in surrounding areas. And how do those 2 things relate to together? You'll have to read it to find out. But it's just another really good book to read at this time of year.
And I gotta give a special nod to this excellent issue of Star Wars Jedi Knights. This is issue #8. This entire issue is told in first person as we see a new girl named Suna get approached by the Jedi and leave her family and become part of the Jedi Order. But like you're seeing her hands and everything, like this is a first person perspective. But on their way to, the rest of her life, heading to the Jedi Temple, they get attacked by pirates, and you'll have to see what happens there. Very, very cool, very interesting the way it's told. And this is your first comic appearance of Kelleran Beck, who is Ahmed Best's character from The Mandalorian.
I like that guy.
And he played Jar Jar Binks, of course, in the original or the prequel trilogy. But this is his first comic appearance. So that is awesome because we know we're going to be getting more of him in the future. So don't miss out on that one. That is it for our top 10. Actually 11 because I threw an extra one in there. Comic picks. Like we said, this is a great week. So head on over to infinityflux.net and order these books. They are live right now while supplies last. So get your hands on them. And stay tuned if you want to hear more about these, see some of their variants, all of that. Stay tuned for our longer show coming up next. But until then,
See ya.
bye.